So this is Candus and Dawn to Hollywood. Important to note that on November 10th, the TBI posted an update and said that they have no evidence that Summer was abducted. So this is about Candus's meltdown on Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil said most parents will do anything and everything to find their daughter. And you'll hear her say a very important sentence that spoke volumes to me. It's been almost 5 months since 5-year-old Summer Wells went missing from her home in Tennessee. Her parents, Dawn and Candus, say they believe their daughter was abducted. The parents say online bullies have said they have something to do with her disappearance. Dawn agreed to sit down with Scott Rouse and Greg Hartley of the Behavior Panel to clear his name. Dawn says Candus refused at first, but finally agreed to sit down. Candus, I'm going to have to ask you some hard questions. I've told you this. Did you do anything to Summer? Candus, no.
Did you do anything to Summer?
No.
Do you know what happened to Summer? Candus, no.
Do you know what happened to Summer?
No.
Do you know who took Summer? Candus hardly lets out a no.
Do you know who took Summer?
No.
Anybody in your family involved with this?
Anybody in your family involved with this?
Candus, not that I'm aware of, no.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
You know, people are always going to point the finger at people that are the closest to somebody. That's just the nature of how it goes. What have you got to say to those people? I don't know what to say, but they're wrong.
I don't know what to say, but they're wrong.
Why are they wrong? Candus, because I had nothing to do with this.
Because I had nothing to do with this.
Okay, what jumped out at you here? Immediately when she said no for the third time, it was quiet. It's a whisper. So there's a distinct difference here, qualitatively. Yes. Dr. Phil, that time nothing came out of her mouth, right? Okay, so first question, did you do anything to Summer? No. Demonstrative? No. Do you know what happened to Summer? Candus, no. Almost identical answer. Do you know who took Summer? Head shakes, no. Still the voice doesn't even say anything. A silent no comes out, then she adjusts. We call that fading facts. Then she gets out a weak no.
No.
Strong no's to the first two questions. Then you say, do you know? It's like, no. So what do you make of that? So I immediately wanted to go further and push a little harder. And I will say, sometimes when you do what we do for a living, people cry, and we will force them to cry. So this immediately caused the next question. Okay, let's take a look at the next tape. Is there any reason anyone near you would want to hurt you or your kids? Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I'm aware of.
What do you think should happen to somebody who did this? To the person who did this, what do you think should happen to them?
They should be put away for the rest of their lives. I mean, they should be tormented, I think.
Dr. Phil, here you get a pause and then a response.
The person that did this, what do you think should happen to them?
You say, what do you think should happen to them? First thing she does is close her eyes. She's eye blocking. We call that eye blocking or escaping. And then there's a pause. Watch her respiration. Watch her breathing. You can't miss it.
They should be put away for the rest of their lives. I mean, they should be tormented, I think.
There's a lot here. We see her eyebrow go up there. She's not sure what she should say. Everything she's doing says, I'm unsure and shouldn't be saying this. The guys that run organized crime around you, you worried about them at all? Don, they've questioned him and he has an alibi. What about those fellows around there that are in the cornbread mafia? Don laughs. Cornbread mafia? That's what we call them where we live. Candus immediately starts having a meltdown. I have no idea. I've heard about a hillbilly mafia type stuff and everything. We try to just steer clear from all these. Candus interrupts. Get these wires off of me.
Wires off me.
Don, I've tried to steer clear of all these people as much as possible. I think they've kind of seen us as targets. They have come up and stole our stuff. They've come up into my shed and stole all my mechanics tools at one time.
You know, when they knew we were gone. They knew me and her were together. Just hang on.
Have you guys put any kind of security or anything on your place?
No, we don't have any kind of security. Okay, this is significant to me for a lot of reasons, says Dr. Phil. We haven't seen a lot of tears from her. She's talked about Summer, she's talked about her disappearance, talked about looking for her, talked about being gone to her room where she lives, she's picked up her toys, she's held her toys, she's looked at the bed she's not in, she's looked at trigger after trigger after trigger after trigger, and not a tear. But then you ask about the cornbread mafia, which is a colloquial term for a kind of organized grassroots crime syndicate in Tennessee. And let's see what happened when you ask. Let's pay attention to her.
What about those fellas that live around there in the cornbread mafia?
Oh, cornbread mafia.
That's what we call it.
So we started by trying to give her a little space about organized crime. So Greg brings up something about organized crime and it doesn't register anything with her. As soon as I say cornbread mafia, we'll watch the side of her mouth start dragging down. That's when the emotion hits. We call this insulating and running. She insulates, she starts crying so we can't get to her. In other words, psychologically, we can't speak to her. We see the emotion as soon as I say cornbread mafia. It's showing emotions coming from this that most likely shouldn't be there. I will also say, are the tears real? Absolutely, because you can't fake a snotty nose. What we know is she's feeling pain, she's feeling emotion that we didn't see any other place in the story. Dr. Phil, we don't know what it is. Could be fear, could be guilt, could be both. I think they've seen us as targets because they have come up here. Candus, get this stuff off me. Dr. Phil, okay, at this point, she wants out. She came there to help find her daughter. But you raised the stakes to the point that forget about my daughter, I want out of this room. It's all about me at that point.
I can't do
Candus, I can't do this, you know what I mean?
this.
Listen,
Dawn, they're trying to help. Candus, no, it's not helping me.
No,
we're trying to help.
Yeah, we're trying to
it's
help.
not helping me.
It's okay.
Dr. Phil, he said they're trying to help. She said, no, they're not helping
That's it.
me. They're not helping me. If she had said, how's this going to help Summer, our response would have been different. They're not helping me. I want to take another clip from their interview with Dawn and Candus.
Calm down for a minute.
No, I want to go.
These are tough questions.
No, I'm being interrogated again, and I don't want to do this no more. Yes, I am.
We'll stop. I want you to feel comfortable.
No, I want. Oh, and I want to go home.
Calm down.
Oh, boy.
Huh.
Dr. Phil, okay, this is right after you asked about the cornbread mafia. She had the response that we saw. And now she's fleeing the scene. She starts before she flees the scene by doing something that we refer to as trancer in a true crime workshop. It's making yourself unavailable, whether it's doing this or something emotional to escape. She's already escaped, it's just a matter of getting out of that wire. Another interesting piece is contrast to their body language. Don looks oblivious to all this. He's trusting us and paying attention to us, and she's not. When our producers asked the Wells for a tour of the house to better understand what may have happened this summer, Candus refused. Then she changed her mind and let us into the basement, but only after they cleaned it. But a month after Summer went missing, Candus did invite podcaster Chris McDonough of the Interview Room for a home tour. Let's have a look.
Get up. Walked in here and them three were sitting right here, girl, with her eyes glued to the TV, like always. And I said, boys, where's your sister at? Well, she just went downstairs, mom, to play. So I went over here like this, because this is where the stairs are.
Okay.
It's actually down under there.
Oh, down into her
Down into
bedroom.
our bedroom, and then hers is on the other side.
Oh, okay, in the basement.
Yeah, in the basement.
Well, this makes sense now, see?
And then I yelled and I said, Summer, Summer. And she didn't. I listened for a minute. I didn't hear nothing. So I went like this. Is this how I would get down here?
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to come down here or not.
Do I got to be tiny to get in there?
No, you should.
Can we come in from the other side?
Well, we can, but it'd make more sense if you went this way.
Okay, I'll follow you. Oh, man. Good grief,
No, I know
girl.
if my 6-foot husband can fit down here, you can.
Huh?
My husband's 6 foot. I know if he can fit, you can.
This... Oh, my gosh. Way to go.
This is my husband's room.
Okay.
And over here, well, it's a mess again.
That's all right.
But this is where Summer and Little Waylon was.
Dr. Phil, in the interview, you asked if there's a door to her room down in the basement. Could you hear if someone had opened the door? She said yes, you can, clearly. Okay, we have footage of her opening that door. Let's take a look.
I don't recall if this was locked or not. I don't recall that.
Okay.
But I know, it's hard to know. But I know I did come out here and I said, Summer, because sometimes she'll sit right here.
There was a tiny squeak to that door, and that was it. You couldn't hear that up those stairs through that cubbyhole and around that cluttered room with the TV on. As I understand it, what Candus says is they were planting flowers. She had a piece of candy. They washed their hands, had a piece of candy, and then she says she walked her up the stairs to the house. Inside, handed her off to the boys for supervision, and the boys said she went downstairs. Candus went back outside to help her mother with her brace, and came back in, and all of that happened in 2 to 3 minutes. She called for Summer, no answer, and she immediately called Dawn on the phone, said Summer's missing. We got something different the other day. After she checked the house, she crawled under the beds. She did this, she did that. She put the boys out to look in the yard, and then she called Dawn, is what we heard. Dr. Phil, okay, so she went on alert in 3 to 5 minutes. Psychologically speaking, I have to tell you that's inconsistent with everything I'm seeing, because everything I'm seeing does not tell me that I have a hypervigilant mom on my hands. I have a hard time believing that she would walk up the stairs, hand off her lovingly to 3 babysitting brothers, Go back and help her mother be back inside 2 to 3 minutes calling for her daughter. Timeline doesn't work, right? I don't believe she could get out there in 2 to 3 minutes. I don't believe she called for her in 2 to 3 minutes and went on alert in under 5 minutes and started a search. Or that she would call Don and give Don's history with law enforcement. His first reaction would be, call the cops. Every time the cops been out there before, that wasn't to serve and protect, it was to arrest and detain. I'm not saying Candus is involved. I'm not saying Don is involved. I'm saying it doesn't add up to me, and when things don't add up, I need more information. Coming up, Candus and Don are here. They're going to give the first national TV interview. I'm not sure how long it's going to last. But they say they want to set the record straight. I'm going to give them every opportunity to do that. When they come out, I'm going to ask you two to sit down there so you can observe them. Well, I speak with them and I'm going to see what we can learn. My goal here is to see if there's something that we can find out. Maybe they have guilty knowledge. Maybe it's something they know that they don't know. They're not aware that they know something that might be meaningful. Maybe they know something that they don't know is important. We're out of time for today. Tomorrow, the parents of Summer Wells will sit down with me for the first national TV interview. Candus has been reluctant to talk with me. She walked off during her interview with Scott and Greg. Will she stay and talk about Summer, or will she walk off the stage? I have some very important questions to ask her. Here's a preview. What do you think happened? Candus, I have no idea what happened. You took your daughter in the house and you never saw her come out. Candus, she just was gone. But she didn't just vaporize. Someone had to take her out of that house. Dawn says, in her mind, she's being interrogated. Dr. Phil, that's not interrogating you. I'm trying to help you find your daughter. You don't want to miss tomorrow when I look her in the eye and ask her some very important questions. Summer Wells, 1-800-TBI, FIND.